welcome back to Identity Emergence. All right. Is a topic that I've been thinking about for a while, which is that you do not need more inspiration. Whew, okay. The reason why I'm like, whew, is because this is literally calling my 26, 27-year-old self out. Maybe 25, I'm not sure. But the version of me like 2, 3 years ago needed to hear this message. So if you're in this state right now, just know I'm literally calling myself out as I record this. We're gonna dive right into it. Okay. The thing about inspiration is when I say inspiration, I could literally talk about inspiration for your clothes, of course, hello, but it could be inspiration from someone you follow on Instagram, maybe like a mentor figure to you, a coach, someone who's in the field that you look up to, same profession as you're in, or you might like content creators and vloggers, influencers, like whatever it is that makes you want to like live a life like theirs or makes you want to be that Dululu to follow your dreams, whatever that inspires you, right? So in my case, I have my own business and now I'm starting a podcast, and there's a lot of people that I look up to that will give advice, right? Or even just when we look at like fashion, there's a lot of styling advice on the internet. And what happens is that sometimes when we consume all these inspirational content that makes us feel like, ooh, maybe I could do that. Ooh, maybe I could wear that one day, right? And that there's nothing wrong with inspiration, don't get me wrong, but inspiration literally takes you nowhere if you don't take the action. And also, this word action is like thrown around on the internet, especially in the spiritual community, will say the inspired aligned action, which I 100% agree that you need to take. But the thing is, and if you're anything like me, like have this idea of how it needs to be executed so perfectly, how it needs to launch so perfectly, how I have to go from here to here to here and then become this. Like when we have these like way of how the plan should go and look like, we stop ourselves. We got the inspiration, but we don't take the action. So I just basically want to call out for anyone who is feeling like they're constantly saving things on their Pinterest board. They're constantly saving videos that they come across on like TikTok, talking about how to start as a content creator, how to start as a UGC creator, how to start a business, how to have own a boutique, how to become an influencer, how to get free PR, how to become a blogger. I don't know. I'm just like listing things that I will be like drawn to, or like how to have a glow up, how to do this makeup, how to blah, 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 blah. Like anything that makes you feel like, oh, how do I get to do that? You save it in your little folder that you probably named, because every folder has different names if you're like me. And you save it, but you never come back to it. You save these videos of how to XYZ, whatever that makes you feel inspired to live a different life. You save it and it just stays there, right? And this is why inspirational contents are great. Like that's all we see on the internet. It's beautiful. It makes us feel like, oh, that's nice. But feeling that is not enough to change your life. Feeling that is not commitment. Feeling that is never going to create your dream life. And that is the truth that I needed to hear 2, 3 years ago, that no one really told me in this way. So, inspiration is great. It makes you feel something, it activates something within you, but it's not a full activation, right? Because activation kind of needs to like trigger you in a way. So as I'm saying, like, okay, whatever content that you consume that made you feel inspired and you're saving, but you're not changing your life, you're gonna live the same life if you just keep saving. If that triggered you, if that gave some type of like, ooh, I'm gonna live the same life. Ooh, I want to change that. Like that's starting to activate something within you. And when you activate something within you, you start to think, do I want to live this life that is thinking, yeah, 5 years from now, I might start my business. Yeah, I might one day become a content creator. Yeah, after my kids get older, I'll do this. Yeah, after I have this like position in my job, then yeah, all the things that I saved, I'm gonna do it, right? And don't get me wrong, like I didn't start my podcast until this year, and there's a reason for that. But like there's a season that we also need to honor in our lives. But if you're just being inspired by people constantly and not doing anything to change that, you're gonna feel stuck. You just feel good. It's like a little dose of like high that you felt. You're like, that was pleasant. And that's it, right? Because your life isn't shifting. Inspiration is not enough. You need to activate something within you and then take the action. It's like a devotion to the life that you're creating. That is something you're missing. It's not inspiration. You don't need more inspiration, right? You don't need more things that makes you feel, good, I want that. Okay, we know that you have the desire. We know that now. I love that for you. Within you, something shifted to say like, ooh, I desire that. I want that. Whatever life that is, career that is, things, right? Whatever that is, you got inspired. Great. However, you're just stopping there. You just like got a glimpse of your vision and oh, cool, oh, cute, and then boop, stop. And that was me for years, even after my spiritual awakening. And I think this is the thing about the spiritual girlies in this community where we're seeing all these like advice and we actually know how to get our dream life. Like, you know, the concept of manifestation, you know how to shift your identity, you know, like how things work for you in order for you to get the things that you desire, but you're still stuck in the same situation. Why is that, right? It's because you don't have enough devotion. And I think when I started, for me, for my experience, when I started my business and started also my spiritual awakening journey, my healing journey also simultaneously started, I just remember feeling like, oh, I don't want to hustle. I don't want to be associated with the alpha toxic masculinity. Like, I want to feel and flow in my energy, which I have been doing and got me nowhere. I have been flowing and got me nowhere. So the thing about your inspiration and your desires, that's your feminine, right? Listen to your feminine energy, your purpose, your why, your creativity, like that will lead you. But then behind your feminine, you have to have the masculine to back you up, right? Because if you're just floating and feeling inspired like all the time, nothing's going to change. You feel good in the moment when you feel inspired, but nothing's gonna change. I wanna share a couple of my own stories where I was just like, oh, fuck, bitch. Like, we gotta like change something. Like, I cannot be living this life anymore. So, one of the first things, right, is me investing my last cash $2,000 into my color analysis kit. And if you're watching this on YouTube, it's literally those, right? Those kit at the time when I got the whole thing, it was $2,000 or something like that. And that's all the amount I literally had left in my bank account. Like last 2000 I had, that was cash. That wasn't like on a credit card. And I had to make a decision. This was 2024, summer, before summer. I had to make the decision because for the longest time, I was telling myself, once I get more sales for online color analysis and make money, then I will invest in this. But at the same time, the version of me who is successful, who built her dream business, who is making the impact that she was desiring to, she already has the kit. She already has the color analysis kit. So, me not buying that kit was stopping me from becoming that version of me. My identity wasn't there. So, I made a decision that May, I want to say, to literally my last cash that I had, the $2,000 I had, and to invest in this kit. And that was one of the scariest investment. Like, I've invested like 10K, even like 20Ks, honestly more than that to like business coaches. But for some reason that really scared me because it wasn't even on a credit card. It was literally the cash that I had, right? And when I did that summer, when I started in-person color analysis service, since then my income has been at a set point where it will not go below a certain amount. So I increase my energetic minimum, my money energetic minimum for each month since investing in the color analysis. And sure, it's about, people wanting color analysis, people wanting to do the in-person experience, and a lot of things contribute. But the main thing that shifted was my identity. The version of me who had certain things that I wanted in my business already had the kit. So what was really stopping me from doing that? And then the fear of like, what if I run out of money? What if I go in debt? And like, of course, there are fears that came up, but I did it anyway because sometimes fear is the best compass to follow. Sometimes the things that scare you the most is the direction that the universe is trying to direct you, but you're so stubborn to listen that you're like, no, I'll do it when this. No, I'll do it when this. And when this don't happen, right? The perfect plan that you created in your mind, it just doesn't happen. And you're just in that moment where you have to make a decision. Are you going to stay this way or are you going to shift it? And in that moment in 2024, I shifted it. And we're leading up to where I am today, which is also part of it is like me having my studio. It's a shared studio currently, but I get to have this space. What? This is also a crazy alignment story too. So that's one story I wanted to share where I didn't just get inspired, but I was devoted to the life I was creating, the life I wanted to create, the identity and the version of me that I wanted to become, which leads to my another point is my podcast. So I remember I was I was doing like a little walk and jog thing with my partner, my fiance. And sometimes we just like walk like 10K together. And then as we were walking, we are yapping. And I remember, I think it was like 2025, we were talking about how I wanted to shift into kind of like identity coach, or should I do coaching offers or things just to like explore a little bit more different options in my business. And then he didn't say it like that, but I just remember him saying like, oh, I don't really see you doing that. Not in like a bad way, but when he said that, it really hurt me, activated, right? It's not just inspiration, activated, because I also didn't see myself as that. I decided to do a podcast in 2026. Like I've been deciding on that for like 2 years, the past 2 years. But when the time came, I was like, I'm not the person that I will want to take advice from. I literally told myself, I was like, I don't want to take advice from her. That was back in 2025. That really got me. I was like kind of hurt by my own thoughts because I was like, fuck, like I'm not saying like right now I got it all figured out or I'm perfect or I like know everything now, but it's just the identity that I was carrying back then, even like, 6 months ago to now, it's totally different. So that's when I shifted everything. Actually, the last 6 months, I shifted my identity so much to where I now have a podcast, to now I'm creating something behind the scenes, and which I'm so excited to share with you. It's coming this summer. And to go beyond style and image and really connecting your inner to your outer. And I'm literally doing that this year, something I've been wanting to do for the last 2, 3 years. And I had to become that identity for me to even like say all these things, right? And again, my fiance, he never meant bad. It was just like I needed that kind of like a light up on my ass moment where I needed someone to literally tell me directly and say like, you're not devoted enough. You're not committed enough to creating your business or to becoming that version of you that you keep saying. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so true. Since last summer, like 2025 and that summer and on, before that, I was all about inspiration. I knew how to shift my identity. I knew how manifestation works. I knew how to grow my business. And of course, like certain things like I didn't know. That's why I hired mentors to help me with that as well. But I knew all of these basic concepts already, which I'm pretty sure like too, like there's a conscious mind and your subconscious mind. You know that sometimes redirection is the best thing that could ever happen for you. These concepts I already knew, but I never applied to them in a way that I was committed to myself and my dreams and my desires. So I remember, this is a whole different story time I actually wanted to do, but just to give you like a brief version, in summer, I accidentally, I'm doing like an air quote, accidentally became a 5 a.m. girly. And I woke up one morning, like 2, 3 a.m. I couldn't go back to sleep. So I decided to work from like early on. And then I got like half of the things that I've been procrastinating, things that I've been avoiding before noon. And I was like, what? Hello? And I always knew that version of me who is successful, who has the money, who has the impact, who is showing up as their highest version of themselves also wakes up early. I don't know, like I already knew that. I don't know why I didn't even like try that before, but I'm so lucky and very blessed that I got to do that during summer because that led me to shifting my identity. And it's not just about waking up early and doing and shifting your habits, because if your identity doesn't, stick with that, your habits, if it doesn't stick with it, your habits would like disappear. Right? That's why like when people are like wanting to start the gym, most people just don't continue on because their identities are not matching to the habits that they're trying to repeat over and over. I started doing my morning routine, which I never had before. I thought I was because I was so inspired in the flow state of, okay, I'm just gonna let the feminine lead, which again, I love it. And I like to sleep in. Like I love sleeping till like 9, 10 a.m. if I can. And that was the lifestyle I was living, maybe not every day, but like some days I will just wake up at 9 and be like, I got good enough sleep. What a blessed, peaceful life. Again, that was good, but then that's not what I wanted. What I wanted was a business that's going to grow with me, evolve with me, that's going to expand with me, and also expanding the impact because I know I'm here on this earth to do more than sleep till 9 a.m. But that's all I was doing because all I did was listen to inspiration and not get activated, not get triggered. And I was not devoted enough. I was not committed enough to the lifestyle that I wanted to create. So again, yeah, when I was starting this podcast, I was like, I really need to shift this identity. Hello, I'm talking about identity emergence. I have to become the version that I see. Like this is the vision I saw for myself. Me recording right now in this setup, talking about this, like that's the version I saw, but my energy wasn't there. My identity wasn't fully there. So once I shifted my identity, because I was literally like so triggered and disappointed in myself because I got activated, triggered, right? And I started to do things differently. I woke up earlier. I also did what I've been, for some reason, avoiding for a while, is to invest $10,000 in a one-on-one coaching with my mentor, who I have, like, she's someone who I literally started off my career with. Like all the knowledge that I have, a lot of them comes from her. So with, styling and color analysis, all of that. So when I made that decision, also $10,000, 3 months coaching, right? That is also an identity shift. And I actually invested $10,000 before in a group like mastermind as well. But this is the decision I've been avoiding again for a very long time. It wasn't even just like the like amount of money that I was afraid of. It was just that becoming that identity who invested in a one-on-one coaching 3 months for $10,000. And I did that. And I repeated that. I did that twice. So I did it for 6 months. And like I got all my money back from that investment and I restructured all my offers. Now I had a solid way to work with clients. My one-on-one was structured. And now I could just focus about expanding from here because I have a solid foundation ready now, right? So these are little things that led me up to the identity that I now carry. And this didn't happen through inspiration. It started from inspiration. But inspiration over and over and over again will not get you to the life that you're craving, desiring. You have to be devoted to the life that you want to create. And this was the hard truth that no one actually told me directly like that for the first few years of my business, of my spiritual awakening, because I thought it was all about love and light, right? Living the feminine, soft life, waking up at 9, which got me nowhere. My income didn't grow. And the freedom that I was desiring also didn't come with it. If you're getting inspired by people that you follow, saving things on your TikTok and Instagram, and your way of showing up every single day in your life is not matching, you're not committing to rewiring your brain, literally doing the identity work. This is what I was doing. Like every morning, I will journal to rewire my thought, rewire my identity work. If you're not doing all that, you're not devoted enough. You don't want that life enough. And I think we just want like the shortcut, right? Like when we think about manifestation, it's like the woo and it's easy and it's feminine. And I love that part of it too, because there's truth to that. But then your masculine still has to back you up, back the feminine up. I'm literally talking to like the version of me who's listening 2, 3 years ago, me, who thought that she was doing everything right because it looked like on the surface level, I was doing everything right. But I really wasn't. I wasn't devoted enough. I wasn't committed enough. I wasn't actually wanting to change enough, to be honest. I was kind of getting comfortable with the inspiration. But your big deluded dreams requires commitment. And once you commit to that, and once your life shifts, be in your feminine. Right? But it's a repetitive thing. Like you let your feminine lead, let your inspiration lead, but then have the masculine take the action. Don't get me wrong, I love the energetics and the spirituality and the inspiration that we talked about today. I love it all. And that's how I got into manifestation. That's how I got into starting my business and leading with my soul. And I appreciate that feminine. I appreciate it. I appreciate that it got my like lit up my soul, right? I'm appreciative of that. But at the end of the day, we're here on earth on a 3D, right, situation where we have to make 3D action to make and bring in the things that we desire to change. And this is also why I love talking about how you could bring in your personal style into the mix in your manifestation, because your style is identity work in disguise. Your style is a way for you to be devoted to yourself. So if you can't even commit to dressing up 5 days out of the week, let's say, even four, right? If you can't commit to dressing up for yourself, when you know that your next level woman, your next level self always looks put together, when you know that for a fact, but you can't even commit to that right now on a day to day, there's a disconnect, right? That's the devotion that you're missing. And I love the way that style gets to be an easy, tangible way to bring in that action while still honoring the feminine, because we look good, we feel good, right? We're still honoring that inspiration, but we're also devoted to us getting dressed, us taking the action and feeling magnetic. So I hope this episode also resonated, because this is something I wish I heard of. You don't need more inspiration. I'll be like, what? Sometimes it also feels like you are taking the action, but are you committed to your action? Are you devoted enough, right? Did you just do the meditation for like 2 weeks and like not talk to your mat for like weeks after, right? Like, commitment and the devotion is going to be the key to creating your dream life. Keep always those inspiration, because that's your feminine leading, but make sure to back that up, right? And once you do that, I learn, and even in the last 6 months, how much your life can change and how much your image and your confidence and your identity that you carry will also shift as well. Let me know if this resonated. DM me on Instagram, tag me on Instagram, and share this episode with someone you think could appreciate this messaging as well. And I will catch you in the next episode. Okay, bye. またね。